Life is so boring, am I right, guys? You just live your life in an endless loop where nothing exciting happens except for one thing. You can always count on someone to backstab you. That's right, adding a little spice and flavor in your life. Nothing like a little bit of a, betrayal to keep the adrenaline pumping. Ah, yeah, just gonna inject that into my bloodstream like it's an episode of Adventure Time. On social media, betrayal is a big word, and it happens a lot. A lot of people somehow feel like they're not real friends because they're only online friends, and a lot of people feel like there won't actually be any real-world repercussions to my actions, so I could get away with moida. I pronounced moida like Joey Wheeler because maybe the YouTube bots aren't gonna flag me for it. I find characters on social media to be fascinating. Maybe it's because I am also a character on social media, so I could relate to them at least on a perspective of, I'm doing the same shit. But also, everyone needs to play some sort of game for public perception, and no one actually is showing the world the real them. There's always some level of performative nature to their content, because this is how they want to be perceived. You see pre-Taco Bell Nux, the guy out there that's doing his regular day, as opposed to post-Taco Bell Nux, who is cursing life itself sitting on the toilet for hours on end. I pruned and preened pre-Taco Bell Nux to be exactly the presentable character that I want to be, even though Twitter still finds reasons to cancel me every week because I guess they're bored or whatever. But it is absolutely wild to me that people that know that they are pruning themselves for public perception will actually make such glorious and massive fuck-upperies on such a massive scale that it would Oppenheimer their whole career. Today, I'm not exactly doing the same video that everyone's done on iilluminaughtii. I am going to be looking into all of the horrible actions that she has taken. For those of you that are unaware, she has done lots of shit. It actually feels like you're watching a shonen villain with how many different villain arcs she's had. But I'm going to be doing it from a much different perspective, I think. I'm actually going to do a character analysis here. I'm going to be talking about her like she's an actual villain, a fictional villain that I'm trying to understand the motivations of. Because to be honest, she is an absolute enigma to me, how any human being could make so many dumb mistakes and just be so rampantly and unapologetically evil. In this video, I'm going to present all the stuff she did, documentary style, going through all the steps and processes, however, from the perspective that I am trying to figure out who this lady is. She steals, she abuses, she slanders, and she lies. It is unbelievable to me, the actual saga that has unfolded for this character. And my parents didn't agree and psychology couldn't be used for anything. Of course, know that everything I'm about to say is completely just my kind of perspective on it as a fellow content creator and not actually some sort of fact, but I really feel like I've put together a picture of who she actually is. And it really scared me a little, so let's jump right into it. Let me know if you want me to do this with other YouTube supervillains, because I'm super down. I love doing things that are actually fun to do and interesting to me. I have like a thirst for knowledge, almost like iilluminaughtii has a thirst for ruining her own career. Speaking of, what an epic segue, let's see the career that she actually had to destroy it, because I think that is the first key to the actual code of cracking her character. If you look at her actual content, you will notice a few very interesting little factoids over here. She posts 3 videos a week of these highly edited, highly scripted videos between 20 and 30 minutes in length, covering a massive amount of different niches, each one of them backed up with incredible amounts of facts. I did research and writing for this video alone, so I know how much work goes into something like that, and the fact that she actually is able to crank out 3 highly edited, highly researched videos that are all basically character assassinations of different people or companies, that's insane. To be that confident in so many ways that you are willing to, with incredibly minor personal research, because let's be honest, you did not have the time to do all of that, you were able to literally put out potential actionable hit pieces on all these different people. That takes balls. Or does it take plagiarism? So before actually getting into the whole video essay thing, she started off doing Reddit reaction videos where she would just like read creepy Reddit stories and stuff like that, because that was kind of the meta on YouTube at that point. And as the meta shifted to freaking video essays on different stuff and different call-outs of different unethical behaviors, that's exactly where she shifted as well. This is not a red flag per se, lots of people shift their content, it's just really interesting to see how she shifted so drastically from one meta to another meta as it was evolving. I'm not saying this is the actions of a grifter per se, but when you see her dropping 3 videos a week on highly edited, highly researched topics, calling out the bad ethics of different people and companies, you start to scratch your head about her ethical position on all of this. Maybe she did what I thought she was doing. Hiring editors and researchers so she could churn it out like a business business, because ultimately YouTube is a business. At her highest peaks in her career, she was undoubtedly making over $100,000 a month if you include sponsorships and ad revenues. I actually did that little calculation on a stream. Her biggest months on YouTube, she was doing like around 15 million views, which is around 60, 70K. And if you include ads that she has on every second video, that's easily another 30K. You don't need to be Jewish to do that math, I'm just saying. She was making bank, and she knew exactly what she was doing. That said, when the plagiarism allegations dropped, because I'm going to get into that before the actual debacle, because this is still part of her old content that was plain for everyone to see, you started to understand how she was so confident in, releasing all this stuff and all this information, because she didn't actually do all the research. See, it's really hard to drop a really well-analyzed, well-thought-out video calling out the ethical practices of powerful people unless someone else did exactly that, and you could just steal their shit verbatim and take credit and money for it. And that's exactly what she did. Bomber Guy recently did a very, very long video deep diving and breaking down different plagiaristic actions that she's taken, where she's just basically ripped off entire videos off documentaries and just paraphrased all that shit without telling you that she was paraphrasing an actual documentary, where all the footage she was using was just footage from that documentary.
Professor Freudenberg has long been controversial.
A man named Hugh Freudenberg, a former immunologist who has been long controversial.
In 1989, he was caught up in a bizarre lawsuit involving the Food and Drug Administration, which told him he had to stop injecting his autistic child patients with blood products.
In 1989, he was caught up in a bizarre lawsuit with the Food and Drug Administration, which told him he had to stop injecting his autistic patients with blood products.
She would watch an hour-long video on the Fire Festival, and then she would make an hour-long video on the Fire Festival. She would even have all the footage too. In fact, it became the ultimate easiest videos to possibly make. It literally the easiest shit in the world. She would have massive 10-minute long segments in her videos just reading Wikipedia articles and going to all the links that those Wikipedia articles link to. So yeah, she can make a video talking about the absolute and horrible evil of McDonald's and the unethical practices that they do, because she could just pull up an actual story of some sexual assault that happened in a McDonald's somewhere and read all of that shit in her video without actually crediting any of it, and it looks like she did an incredible amount of research. Now, going into your content business-minded, that you're doing this because you actually need to make money and support your family and all that stuff, honest to God, that is not exactly the worst mindset in the world to have with YouTube. I am very realistic when it comes to this thing, and what can I say? I'm something of a capitalist myself. What does intrigue me, though, is the style of content, the way the style changes depending on the mood swings, and the whole ethical aspect of it, when in actuality, you're making believe you care about all these issues when you literally don't. You don't even know the issues you're talking about. It's this weird posturing and grandstanding that she does in her content, definitely, because she doesn't actually care enough to research the things she talks about. She'll constantly mention in her videos, analyzing and calling out the ethical malpractices of different companies and how it hurts her on a personal level to see all that shit, but she is mimicking what human emotions are supposed to be like, because she didn't give two shits enough to actually research any of it herself. I've said many times in the past that I think sociopathy is the perfect mental illness to pair with being a content creator. You could literally detach yourself from the thousands of hate comments you might be receiving, and I think Blair is really playing that shit up a lot. I think the whole sociopath vibes of making believe she is currently offended or feeling bad about all the horrible things that certain company was doing, and so that's why she had no choice but to stay up all night watching a documentary, recording the same fucking thing, and just adding the freaking basic footage to it to just churn out videos. It's like someone on Twitter, so sad that they were sexually assaulted and they're gonna post receipts of that sexual assault, but they decided to just have ChatGPT come up with a sexual assault random AI-generated text because they didn't really have the interest in doing any of the work themselves. Suddenly you start to realize that perhaps that might not be the case. When people are actually emotionally invested in something, you'd think they would at least, look into it a little bit. And by the fact that she definitely didn't do any of that, it really goes to show that her motives were making money, which I think in a vacuum isn't necessarily evil, but due to the content of her work constantly morally grandstanding, it really goes to show that she was very, very performative about this for a very, very long time. Every time she says, I deeply care about this issue, I literally think of this 75-year-old man saying, hey, fellow kids, I also care about Riz and yacht. It's almost like she's trying to put up the facade of having some sort of emotional or ethical integrity when in actuality she is a black hole devoid of any of those things. Now, another trait of sociopathy is irresponsibility, and I think being a content creator with such a massive audience like she had, it is just blatantly irresponsible to make videos completely plagiarizing all this shit. Not even irresponsible, like, on an ethical level that you might actually be reporting blatantly wrong stuff, like she's done so many times. Like, she has literal segments in her videos where she is paraphrasing, quoting, and presenting conspiracy theories that were debunked years ago, but she had no idea about that because that was just in some article that she dug up. But aside even that level of irresponsibility, how did she not think her career would crumble at some point when people figured this out, that she was actually plagiarizing all of her stuff? As a YouTuber, someone that literally does the same freaking job as she does, I couldn't imagine uploading a video where in the back of my mind, I'm like, wow, if someone actually looks into this, I'm fucking dead. This level of irresponsibility that she had, even for her own well-being, is like classic sociopath behavior. Again, not saying that she is one, just saying that it's alarming. It gives the vibes of those idiot kids on TikTok that will film themselves doing actual crimes for like TikTok clout, except Blair is 30 years old. And she is literally has an entire channel of documented serial plagiarism. How did she not think this would get back to her unless she has main character syndrome? And that's what I'll be getting into for the next point of this video. Main character syndrome is basically not an actual psychological term. However, it is when someone feels like they are the main character in their own story. This world is just a story that they are living in, and they're the main character in that world. They are the chosen one. I really like this term because I feel like a lot of people who do social media for a living actually end up falling into the trap of feeling like they are some kind of main character because so much luck is involved in actually blowing up on social media. Well, they must be some sort of divine conqueror of fate in order to get to this point. I guess they deserve everything, unlike those mortals that are failing their jobs and trying to make YouTube videos to 6 views. Those lowly insects beneath my heel. God, I have obtained all of the Infinity Stones. Wealth, fame, power, the ability to not need to bathe and not be considered a cretin in society, and I've never even touched grass. The YouTube play button will be mine. Well, main character syndrome, I think, definitely struck iilluminaughtii when she felt like she could call out Legal Eagle on Twitter. And this is where her actual nightmare and downfall literally began. iilluminaughtii made one single tweet calling out Legal Eagle for stealing her shit. Legal Eagle is a lawyer YouTuber who is probably the worst idea to call out a lawyer for doing illegal stuff, especially when you have no grounds to stand on. She called him out for stealing her editing practices and editing styles, and showed a lot of proof on Twitter of this, and the proof was, well, you see, I use highlighted effects in my videos, and you are using highlighted effects on your videos that he's, by the way, been doing for like 4 or 5 years before she did, but she left that out. And then she showed an even bigger proof that she is actually correct, and she's like, I use a torn paper background in my videos, and suddenly you started using a torn paper background in your videos. This was the evidence that she actually had for her claim, where she was calling out a lawyer YouTuber with millions of subscribers that he's stealing shit. This is what she had in her back pocket. The only reason why she actually thought this might have been some sort of good idea is if she thought she was God's chosen one and had some kind of main character syndrome. Not only is her entire pyramid scheme of success based on stealing shit, she's calling someone out for stealing shit that's not even stealing, that everyone's been using on YouTube, that he's been using before her, that, to be honest, no one cares about. YouTube is an ecosystem that thrives on every creator propping every other creator up. I feel like she's the type of person to not want to collab with someone because she's afraid people will go watch that person. She views everyone in life as the antagonist of her story as the protagonist, and she will have some sort of divine help on her side to always call people out for the stupidest of bullshit. Well, this fell apart really badly. Aside from getting absolutely clowned on Twitter for probably the worst cancellation attempt in the history of YouTube, and aside from Legal Eagle literally proving that he has actually been using that highlighting shit and torn paper effect before, which obviously he didn't need to prove, the claim is so freaking laughable, she apologizes to Eagle in DMs and proceeds to not become a better person because of that at all, not even a little bit. Like, it's wild how little character development she has. Now, let's get into a bit of specifics here, because I feel like that is important to highlight exactly how vindictive this bitch actually is. Can you say the B word about women that are actually abusive, allegedly? I will. In her reply to Legal Eagle, or rather, private message to Legal Eagle about the following, after, of course, she got absolutely ass-blasted in public, literal prolapsing anus for the entire timeline to see, that she would call out someone and try to cancel them for literally nothing, which just goes to show exactly what she thinks she can get away with. She messages him, "I want to reach out and apologize for my tweet yesterday. I was quick to protect my editors when they brought this info to me, and I overreacted. I deleted the tweets." I think this says so much about her as an actual person. It's insanity. Like, if you look at this actual message, she literally tries to cancel someone. But A, she's such a good person because she's just trying to protect her editors. Absolute horse shit. Her editors are getting paid a salary. They don't give a flying rat's ass if someone else steals their editing style. Literally, they do not care at all. The only reason why you felt like this was something worth calling someone out is because either A, you could get clout for canceling Legal Eagle somehow, or B, you didn't want other people to copy your video style so your videos could stand out and your videos could do better and you could be paid more. Your editors aren't paid by the amount of views you get. You are. You literally do not want to protect your editors, but you're immediately trying to paint yourself in some positive posturing light of, oh, you're such a good person, trying to protect people. Horse ass. And then, I think this is even wilder, this also simultaneously, aside from propping her up as such a glorious and wonderful person protecting her editors, it also simultaneously blames her editors. She's saying that the reason why she decided to cancel Legal Eagle is because the editors brought it to her attention and she overreacted. She is simultaneously praising herself for standing up for her editors, which is horseshit, and also saying that the reason why she made the cancellation post was because of her editors, which is horseshit. She's saying, I tried to protect my editors, so I threw them under the bus by blaming them for trying to cancel you for no reason. Like, do you see the manipulative, vindictive bitchisness that is just permeating through these texts? That is literally the first sentence I've read from her, like, as an actual DM. And it is so ruthless in its undertones, it is wild. She really thought she can get away with murder. This Legal Eagle situation, I feel like, is like a classic main character syndrome. The fact that this call-out that's based on absolutely nothing would actually stick and she wouldn't get backlash. The fact that she is literally sitting in a glass house throwing stones when she knows that her entire channel, she knows that her whole channel is plagiarism, even though no one's actually made these massive expose videos on her yet. She knows that she has so many other skeletons in her closet that I'm about to get to. Don't you worry. We are literally seeing the actual best of Blair thus far. This is the best part of the Iilluminaughtii saga. It only gets worse. And the fact that she feels like she could still kind of gaslight and manipulate her way out of this by putting blame on her editors and also trying to make herself look good by protecting her editors. This is someone that felt like they could get away with murder. This is someone who kept succeeding in all of the evil shit they've done, and the evil shit they've done in their past has constantly helped their ego get so much stronger that they felt immortal. Iilluminaughtii has survived so many horrible things in her past that, of course, by now keep surfacing and keep destroying her further and further to the point that her actual fall off on YouTube is uncharacteristic of YouTubers getting canceled. She lost over 90% of her audience, even though her content remained absolutely the same soulless horseshit garbage. But because she was able to get away with all that shit, she thought she had plot armor. And oh god, does everyone right now know that she does not. But strangely enough, the only person who doesn't know that she only doesn't have plot armor but is also dumb is her. She still thinks she could get away with it. The next saga of this video is going to be talking about a really difficult personal situation that she had with her editor, who was also her ex-boyfriend, who was also 8 years younger than her. He dated her when he was 20 and she was 28, which is technically legal, but also scary as shit. And this story might shake you to your very core. Manipulative people are the worst, okay? As a manipulative person myself, I can definitely say that without a shadow of a doubt. Fellow manipula homies out there, they think they're so slick. But then a fellow sociopath rolls up and it's like, hey, fella kids, what am I even doing? Betrayal sucks. Betrayal is so bad. Betrayal could never come from an enemy, definitionally. Betrayal is always from a friend, which is why it's literally the worst thing that could happen to anybody. I think almost everyone in social media for an extended amount of time has been backstabbed at some point. As I've mentioned in the very beginning of this video, I feel like it's extra prevalent because people feel like they have that extra layer of protection and also that ethical cleansing of, oh, actually, I can ethically betray them because I only know them online, not in a real person. This isn't even a real person. I am the main character, Super Mario. Welcome to Illuminauttii's Pizzeria and Abortion Clinic, where yesterday's loss is today's sauce. But betrayal happens a lot on social media, and betrayal happens a lot in real life too. Betrayal sucks. Betrayal is bad as shit. All right. Did I get it across how bad betrayal is? It's happened to lots of people. Lots of people can relate, I think. Holy crap, is this one evil bitch. And again, despite all these skeletons in her closet, she feels like she could get away with everything. And she feels absolutely zero remorse on doing all of this evil shit. It's like literally the sociopathic main character syndrome shit that like you see in movies. Her ex-boyfriend, Ozmedia, made a massive video absolutely cum dumpstering Illuminaughtii, showering her with allegations that seem incredibly true because he knows that he is gonna get sued for this and end up playing that video in court. He made this video knowing it would be played in a courtroom, so he probably does have evidence for all the things he's saying. That's why I personally would believe it. However, at this juncture, it's still hearsay, so this is all alleged, okay? I love how Illuminaughtii, you know, the girl who made an entire channel based on criticizing different government stuff, and the ethics of government, and the bad ethics of law, and the bad ethics of rich people getting away with shit, is now literally doing the opposite of what her entire channel was doing, and is going around suing everyone. Ex-collaborators, ex-boyfriends, ex-editors. She's out there freaking suing the world, putting them in a situation where, in her own words, they're unethical and don't care about the little people and the working class. There are people that only value the rich people. Only rich people can get away with shit. It's so horrible. And now she's, of course, using it like a weapon to silence her critics. Hilariously. Wow. Is she also a hypocrite? That's crazy. Now, Oompaville did such a really good job recently making a whole video on all of this stuff. And he's picked out some really great clips to show you to emulate exactly how bad this is. So I will be showing you some of those clips just to kind of stress my point so you could see these words coming from the mouth of a victim.
For full transparency, which will be explored more in my future video, Blair and I dated. We were a couple for a decent chunk of time.
Now, Oz himself is in the process of making a huge documentary and exposed video on Illuminaughtii, but it's taking a large amount of time, and he's got to focus on making normal content as well to be able to even afford the production on the documentary.
Converting this monstrosity into a video with its accompanying 1,000 screenshots has been one hell of a monumental task for me, a one-person team to embark on.
Imagine making a documentary on how big of a fucking bitch your ex-girlfriend is.
Now, to show you the duplicitousness of this bitch, sorry, I feel like it's so not nice. I have been raised by a wonderful lady that taught me never to call women bitches and only call bitches to homies in like a nice way. But I am betraying my own mother making this video. Worth it. This fucking bitch-ass Illuminaughtii fucking bitch. All right, okay. Cheaters deserve nothing. That was epic foreshadowing, by the way. But anyway, before I actually get into the details of the Ozmedia stuff, she apologized to him publicly and then sued his ass. What the frick? Who is that deranged?
That this update is being made with the understanding that there is a likelihood that this will end up in a courtroom.
She still felt like she was able to somehow recuperate some reputation out of all this by publicly apologizing to Ozmedia. But then in private just sues him anyway because she has zero remorse. I respect that mindset. Like, goddamn, I need to learn from Illuminauttii's levels of self-esteem that she thought she can get away with that. Again, as a YouTuber that does YouTube content, that knows the volatility of the internet and how quick they are to lambast anyone for even the tiniest things. I mean, she knows that. She was ready to call out Legal Eagle for stealing a highlighting effect in a video that everyone does. She knows how easy it is to get people hate. She knows how easy it is to get people canceled. Didn't she at least think it through enough for her own career? Like, listen, lady, the reason that my mind is so, like, blown by all of this is that you would think that purely for selfish reasons she would be a better person. I don't expect you to even have a single ethical bone in your body. Anyone that postures that hard to call out the ethics of literally everyone is probably a giant ass. I don't expect you to even have one shred of integrity. I just expect you to be selfish enough to protect yourself so you can continue bullshitting and posturing on your YouTube channel like you've always been doing. I'm a realist. I don't expect people to be good people. I just expect them to make believe they're good people for money. But she doesn't even do that somehow. It just leaves me scratching my head. Is she that stupid, or is she just that conceited? Is she just so narcissistic that she could get away with this stuff? So anyway, after a public apology and then suing the person she apologized to, like every person that has a public apology, we learn about exactly how manipulative she was in their relationship. And it goes to show, it's the single thread that connects everything is that she thinks that she could do some sort of facade on the outside of the nice, wholesome, posturing person doing good things altruistically for society, and then on the inside, just purely selfishly trying to manipulate things behind the scenes for her own benefit. For me, what absolutely threw me was the fact that she dated this guy, in his words, allegedly, because he had a better credit score than she did. Now, I will find that ironic. I didn't see a lot of people calling that out, that he has a better credit score than she did. 20-year-olds don't usually have good credit scores. If he had a better credit score than she did, it means she's probably defaulted on some sort of loan in the past. Like, again, there is no evidence to any of this, and that's, I think, why people didn't talk about this, but if she is willing to go out of her way to date somebody for his credit score, you would think that her credit score must be absolutely in the gutter. Ironically, having problems with the law is a typical symptom of sociopathic behavior. Again, let me just read you 2 more sociopathic traits just for the fun of it. Not being sensitive or respectful of others, that's one. And another one, you're gonna love this one. Using charm or wit to manipulate others for personal gain or pleasure. Oh shit, here's the third one. I didn't even include this in my actual script for this part of the video. Having a sense of superiority and being extremely opinionated. Bro, do you see what is going on here? Again, I don't know her personally, not gonna call her a sociopath or anything, but holy shit, she's a sociopath. Red flag enough, 28-year-old dating a 20-year-old, making him buy things with his name, using his credit, that he doesn't have the money to pay back because, don't worry, she's got him, but she doesn't got him, is insane. He bought a house with this credit. He bought a car with this credit, again, in his name, for both of them, but he has to pay back, but he doesn't have the money to pay back because he's 20 years old. And it's not like he's a successful YouTuber. And bro, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, but she like told him to buy it, so obviously she's gonna help out with the payments and stuff. Yeah. Have you learned nothing? Have you learned nothing? She thought it would impact her career somehow if another YouTuber uses a highlighting effect text. You think she's not gonna try to get out of weaseling her way of giving him 200 grand? So this Oz Media allegedly spent between $200,000 and $300,000 on this shit that Blair convinced him and tricked him into spending on his own credit, and borrowed that money from Blair. So she now has a massive ledger book of all the shit that Oz owes her for loans that she gave him, that she manipulated him into taking to use his own credit to buy shit for her. Do you see what is going on here? Like, holy moly. In the words of Oompaville, this almost looks like contract fraud. But again, she can keep showering him with love and with kindness and saying, oh, hey, I love you. Oh, you do this for me? I thought you were my boyfriend. Do you hate me? Do you hate me? Do you want me to kill myself? Do you want me to die? Wow. You literally want me to die. It's like, I can hear that progression in her actual voice. From the, oh, you don't want to make an incredibly irresponsible purchase? You don't trust me? You don't care about me? You don't love me? You don't love me? You want me to die? You want me to kill myself? You want me to die a gruesome death? Like, that progression, I could see it happening because I've seen it happening. Just hearing these stories, like, reawakens repressed traumatic memories that I feel like so many people have about being betrayed by someone they thought they could trust. So Oz Media right now is in massive debt to Illuminaughtii because of all this shit, which is just wild. And this is from while they were in a relationship. Imagine your girlfriend. Imagine being in debt to $300,000 to your girlfriend because of purchases she made you buy. Like, holy shit, Makima, sit the fuck down. We got a new queen of manipulation. We got a new control devil in the arena. Now, if that's not enough, you're probably wondering, why didn't Oz Media get help? Why didn't Oz Media just, go to friends and family and talk things out and they'd be like, yo, that bitch be crazy? Because let's be real here. I'm a male. Oz Media's a male. I have a penis. I know how blind I could be with a nice pair of booba in front of me. And that's what the homies are for. To literally pull a Barney Stinson and take out the chart and make you a hot crazy scale and teach you exactly why this is not worth it. Now, I'm not one to call out YouTubers for their looks. I think that is an incredibly below the belt insult, but pussy is pussy, am I right, guys? My wife's gonna love this video. But yeah, anyway, the homies didn't exactly come in to help my boy. They didn't pull Oz Media out of the clutches of a literal succubus because she isolated him. She didn't just isolate him emotionally, feeling like she was the only important person in her life, which he probably did do. I mean, let's be real. I think we've seen enough lore of Coffin of Andy and Lele to know how manipulative some people can be. I think she absolutely, allegedly, I wasn't there, I don't know, but she's 28 and he's 20, and I feel like she could really easily poison this kid's mind when, especially because she made him move to her. He left his friends and family behind. He moved to her. She would tell all the people around that she knows that he sucked. She would make sure that she can confirm friends that he makes. She needed to be okay with the people that Oz interacted with. Here comes the wildest stuff. She literally made him sign a contract that he will actually pay for all the shit that he bought, you know, the $200,000-$300,000, because, well, she's his girlfriend, and she wants to know that she could trust him and all of that stuff. So, in that conversation, she made up all of these, quite frankly, in my eyes, bullshit excuses that, if you don't sign this thing, I will be in so much trouble, Lord, God, no! And she basically traps him in a room, allegedly, according to Oz, with a lawyer and herself, and she's like, oh lordy, I will be in so much trouble with the IRS if you don't sign this document literally to save my life. And freaking guy signed it because it's her girlfriend, and she's saying, oh, if you love me, you'll do this. I love you, but I would only love you if you can actually sign this. Oh lord, if you don't sign this, I don't even know what I would do. It means you don't actually love me. You want me to kill myself. All right, I'm adding that part later. Holy shit. Bro, this isn't in the script, this isn't staged. I literally just got a notification for the suicide hotline on my YouTube. What the fuck? That I have to stop making these videos. But anyway, she gets him to sign this thing. He signs the thing. He signs his life away to her. And then he finds out later that while she was doing that whole, I need to know that you actually love me. If you don't sign this, I won't actually trust or believe that you love me. She was already seeing someone else. When I heard that shit, it fucking sent me. There is no part of her body that is moral or ethical in any way. She just, again, she puts on this facade. She puts on the mask of calling out companies to make herself look better. She'll put on this frivolous design of actually wanting to be shown love to prove that he actually loves her, when in actuality she has a completely other thing going on deep down. She feels like a main character in her own story to the point that she can get away with anything. She just needs to play the right role at the right time, and her actual evil Machiavellian behind the scenes can control everything and everyone, where she feels like that facade will never crumble. This immortality complex, this god complex that she's managed to find herself in because of her incredible ability to sociopathically manipulate people around her that by all intents and purposes she could care about, she felt like she could get away with all of that.
This ledger also includes things such as a non-refundable design fee and land deposit on a multi-million-dollar custom home that she threatened to break up with me if I didn't agree to proceed on this with her.
She's currently suing Oz Media. Oz Media his house is going into foreclosure right now. He has like a whole fundraiser thing. I will try to link in the description to that so you can go help that man out and support the guy. I am a relatively good person at controlling my actions and my thoughts and my things and all that. Like, I feel like I'm more or less good at controlling what I say in certain situations. Like, I try very hard to be able to take an objective look at how I'm perceived and try to shape myself because I want to be perceived as less cringe. Okay, not that one. I love being cringe. Being cringe is awesome. Cancel me all you want, Twitter. But being cringe is free, goddammit! All of you, shackled by your inabilities to be cringe! Alright, that's a discussion for another day. But I cannot do this level of detachment. There's an expression in Hebrew, echad bapeh ve'echad balev, being one of heart and one of mouth. Your heart is thinking one thing and wants to say something through your emotions, and then something completely different comes out of your mouth. It's obviously used as a very negative connotation because it is. Those are people you can never actually trust. Those are people that fucking suck. And if you find them doing it sometimes, then they're probably doing it with everything. Well, what other meaningful relationships does she have that we could look into? What about the one with all the people that she collaborated with? There was a YouTube channel by the name of Sad Milk. It was a worse version of Spilling the Milk. Shout out to the boys over at Spilling the Milk. I absolutely love all of those guys. Let's freaking go. Sad Milk, on the other hand, was just a basic reaction group channel. It was at a time where there were a lot of reaction group channels. You know, you had your Sidemen, you had your Mr. Beast squad, you had all your freaking E-boys out there going together, making these cool, big, hybrid reaction channels. I was actually considering doing one of those back in the day. Actually, believe it or not, it was going to be me, Oompaville, and MXR Plays. We were all going to do like we were thinking of doing some sort of group reaction type channel. We decided not to, thank God, because I am way too overworked as it is. But it was kind of a meta at that point. And as that meta died out really quickly, mind you, that meta only lasted for about a year. You just freaking see Illuminaughtii jumping from freaking grift to grift. It's absolutely insane. But anyway, as that meta died out, suddenly, it was the right time for Illuminaughtii to pull the plug in the worst way ever. Sad Milk ends up disbanding. And Illuminaughtii seems to imply that they were bad friends at the time of this whole disbanding situation, which obviously is gross. There are people that I used to collab with that I am no longer friends with, that I am not necessarily going out and calling them bad friends, because just why? If I don't necessarily want to spend my time with them, well then, you know what? I won't do that. I gain nothing by, insulting people. Unless Illuminaughtii feels like she needs to win every altercation she will ever have. Again, playing into that whole sociopath main character shenanigans that she keeps somehow using to manipulate everyone in her life to her whim, feeling like that she could always get that public perspective on her side by just, blatantly and unabashedly lying about shit, having a completely different persona inside and getting away with everything. So, of course, her first step was to destroy the reputation of everyone else. God forbid it would actually fall upon her that maybe she was the weak link. God, no. So, first thing she would do is she would take clips that she found from The Click, another person in Sad Milk, friend of mine, by the way. He's been on our podcast, wonderful guy, as far as I know. And she would take 11 to 14-year-old clips of The Click when he was making videos in middle school. Like Minecraft Let's Play child bullshit. And he would say terrible slurs. And she would show those terrible slurs, which, by the way, was the R word, for the record. It was the R word, which in my mind is like, that is not a slur, okay? Especially not 10 to 14 years ago. It's not nice at best and disrespectful at worst. Bro, you out here telling me people are saying slurs, and I'm thinking of much worse shiz. Especially when there's no actual negative context used for that word. Like, god damn it. But she would go around and she would be showing this clip of him saying slurs to all these other people to try to get other mutual friends to turn their backs on him. By the way, literally the same shiz has happened to me in the past. Like, classic. That's why I'm so invested in this Illuminaughtii story. The idea of people propagating false narratives around you behind your back to friends of yours so that those friends of yours can disassociate with you literally happened to me. It's what got me so hot and bothered about this entire situation. But what's even more insane is that she will continue to try to get all the information she can to destroy this guy's reputation. Not that they actually had some sort of fallout, but just because she wanted to. It was like purely out of spite, not even out of some sort of revenge. As far as we know, Click never did anything to her. Even in her follow-up video publicly calling out Click, which I will get to in a second, she never said he did anything wrong to her. She just tried her very best to paint him in a bad light so it could discredit anything he might have to say about her. The way she plays the game is like unbelievable. It's like a Nazi going out there and instead of defending themselves to make themselves look better, they're like, yeah, but like Jews suck though. And that'll sort of try to be that rationale, which is not true, by the way. Jews are fucking awesome. Shout out to Jews. I love Jews. But there were leaked DMs of her literally going to people and paying them $200. $200. Real smackaroonies. Like, goddamn. Like, I ain't gay, but $200 is $200. And she would pay people $200 to basically watch his ancient 10 to 14-year-old videos to try to find him saying slurs to just make him look worse. That level of dedication to destroy someone's career purely out of pettiness is almost admirable if it wasn't coming from just a place of decrepit evil. If she lived in Greek times, they would have worshipped her as the goddess of vengeance. They would have been like, holy shit, this is the incarnation of freaking Nemesis in our very own corporeal world. And she would have believed it too, because she has main character syndrome. She then, in her massive video talking about the whole situation, says, well, why would I even talk about the Click? Turns out the Click is evil, because the Click harbored someone in his Discord server who he knew was a pedophile and did nothing about it. That was a quote, by the way. She accused him of harboring a pedophile in his Discord and doing nothing about it. When in actuality, Click proved in a matter of a second that that's not the case. Someone joined his Discord server and the guy was creepy and they banned him. And this is all while the Click was sleeping. It was in the middle of the night some night, and by the time the Click was up, the guy was already banned. But she, not only in her public video calling him out, telling him that he's a pedophile protector to the public, but she would spread that lie for years among friends. Dude, imagine this scenario, okay? And we'll use totally unrelated people just to show you how evil this sounds. Imagine we have a podcast, the Some Ordinary Podcast. Let's say it ends out of some sort of mutual decision. We just decide, you know what, we want to do different things, and it ends, which I hope it doesn't, because quite frankly, I love that podcast. It's the highlight of my week every single week. But let's say the podcast ends, and I tell Muda behind the scenes, oh god, Oompaville, bro, look at his mustache. That's a pedo stash. In fact, he protects pedophiles all the time. Yeah, I know that. I have proof, too. Like, Mudu might believe me. Like, why would he not believe me? We're friends. Why would he not do that? I'm friends with Oompa, too. Like, it's so wildly destructive of, like, someone's entire life. And again, she felt like she could get away with that. Something that's so easy to prove that it wasn't true. And she thought she could get away with that. Why would anyone make an actual accusation that they know doesn't hold water, that they know they wouldn't get away with if it put on blast? And the answer is, because she never thought it would be put on blast. She never thought anyone would even question it. She thought she could get away with everything because she thinks she's the main character in her own story. Anyway, the Click has been getting lots of harassment about all of this stuff for a long time, and he never really knew where it was coming from. It was coming from this account, Schmertz, who is just some random Twitter nobody. Everyone has Twitter nobodies constantly chasing them and hating on them. Bro, I get Twitter nobodies hating on me even when I've been off Twitter for weeks. Just clipping you and mentioning to all the people that you collab with, oh, you collab with Nux? Don't you know Nux is evil and he's probably a pedophile? Yes, my evidence is, trust me, bro. My sources, I made it the fuck up, but, like, believe me, bro, it hurts. It sucks. It hurts careers, it hurts lives, and it makes people stress the shit out. So this Schmertz account was following them around, posting stuff everywhere, on Reddit, on Twitter, under his tweets, under his friends' tweets, about how evil the Click was, and it was proved that it was her alt account. Ironically, she used the same triangle that she has in her Illuminaughtii thing. She used that same triangle on the alt account itself. Like, almost as some sort of calling card, because she's so proud of her work. The reason why we actually found this out is because in one of her massive tirades paying people, trying to find Click saying the N-word in private DMs, she literally then says the alt account is gonna love this. And then after doing a little bit of research, it was all too easy to find that Schmertz was actually her. But here's where it gets actually insane. When Sad Milk broke apart, Illuminaughtii herself made a post on Reddit where she made like just a basic, very wholesome post saying, oh yes, we are continuing our new journey, we have creative differences, everything's still friends, I wish everyone luck, I want to see how they do, it's very exciting, man, this is wholesome, don't worry guys, all is well. And then Schmertz responds to the Illuminaughtii Reddit post in a different format, not capitalizing letters at the beginning of sentences, not spreading it out. Like, she tried her hardest to make every part of the formatting of the Schmertz thing look different than her actual one, because obviously she doesn't want people to know it's her alt. And it posts this whole last thing, oh, Blair, I just want to know, was this a cover-up? You're always so nice and supports the autism community, but is it true that the Click says the N slur, the R slur, and the F slur? Oh my god! And then goes down this massive tirade right below her post, just so everyone could possibly see it. Dude, it's unhinged. That's like wildly and incredibly unhinged behavior. Why did she feel the need to do that? I don't know. I don't know. Looking at Illuminaughtii as a character and as a person as opposed to just a compilation of crimes that she's done, it is a bigger enigma than you might even think. What is so fucked up in her head that she felt like doing all these things were necessary, let alone smart? She's not stupid. She's ran a massively successful YouTube channel that at her heights made over $100,000 in a month. Sure, she got lucky, but you look at the videos and it is not luck. She knew what she was doing. She was capitalizing on the, quite frankly, mass thirst on exposing massive companies and corporations on unethical behavior. Because let's be honest, People don't like getting dicked over by massive companies. She found the niche. She jumped and grifted from hyped project to hyped project, and from YouTube meta to YouTube meta. She is by no means dumb. So when I see her doing these incredibly petty things that, quite frankly, just from a completely intellectual perspective make no sense, it blows my mind. See, I'm used to evil people. Evil people are everywhere. This has bothered me for months. I am a YouTuber. I do the same shit that she does. Except my main channel is shadow banned, but luckily my second channel is doing pretty well, even though it's kind of shitty content over there. But hey, it's fun. I'm having a good time. I'm able to support myself and my family. What more can I hope for? I appreciate the living shit out of you guys. And I have a Patreon, which is linked in the description, by the way. And all support would be awesome, and it is basically what inspires me to make more main channel videos, because main channel doesn't generate me revenue, for reasons that I've talked about another time. But I'm loving it. I'm loving making content, and I appreciate you guys. She has no love for anything. She is someone who's playing life basically on autopilot, getting thrills out of taking people down and propping herself up in the process. I genuinely feel like she is a sociopath with legitimate main character disorder, and with constant successes in her life at tearing people down. I almost feel like she gets some sort of adrenaline punch by doing that. It's why she felt like calling out Legal was the right thing to do. The center of conversation would be around her when she manages to slay this massive lawyer YouTube channel, who turns out is actually unethical, allowing her to further posture herself as the good guy fighting the good fight despite all the evil she does. I almost feel like she doesn't think she is subject to criticism because she feels like she is the main character in this world. And the moment she lost the game on social media, her brain somehow switched. She somehow realized, wait a second, social media is just a different part of the game. The real life is the real game. And then she just sued everyone involved. And I bet you, even though there is insurmountable evidence against her, I still think she thinks she's gonna win, because she still thinks she's the main character and could get away with it. She's still throwing out lawsuits, still throwing out allegations, still somehow trying to either clear her name or clear her something. Her audience obviously all turned on her because she was a channel focusing on taking down unethical business practices when her entire life is an unethical business practice. So obviously her community left her. She's making the same videos but only getting 10% of the views. Dude, Logan Paul will scam millions of people of millions of dollars and will not take a hit nearly that hard because the people that at least watch him know who he is. You didn't know who Illuminaughtii was because she was playing a facade her entire life. So anyway, this was a bit of a breakdown on like almost a character perspective on Illuminaughtii. I know that this is an actual real life person that's done real life shit. So I felt like this was a more interesting glance and way to document all the stuff that she's actually done through the lens of trying to figure out who she is as a person. And I am interested in making this kind of content going forward if you are. So please let me know in the comments if you do want me to do something like this. Because when I see YouTube drama, I'm also trying to understand the person behind the drama. Because as someone that's in a relatively similar position to them, I couldn't even fathom myself doing something like this. Bro, I'm never gonna talk to minors in private conversations just because, what the fuck, I don't want to. But also, even if I did want to, bro, what the fuck, it could destroy my career. So when I see some reputable YouTuber do that kind of stuff, it completely throws me. I do feel like we managed to trace some sort of thread throughout the different actions of Illuminauttii's career and personal disasters of relationships, where I really feel like she thinks she is the main character in life, and she thinks she will get out of everything because it is her absolute divine right to do so. I think she does have sociopathic tendencies, which is why she's so able and easy to completely seclude her heart when it comes to actually doing anything, talking about ethics when she is unethical, manipulating people by telling them that they don't love her when she has absolutely no warmth in her heart for him. And I think she does get some sort of kick out of the ability to destroy someone because it just proves to herself how powerful she is. She could destroy mega corporations on her YouTube channel. She could destroy YouTubers by calling them out on stealing her fucking editing style, and she could destroy people that she used to know so that they will never be able to actually say anything against her. I feel like she has this weird power trip issue, and it all stems from the same place, this idea of invulnerability. And listen, I feel like this video would not be complete without me violating the community guidelines on harassment and bullying policy. Would a main character really look like this? Leave a like if you want me to do one of these on Sniper Wolf. Bye-bye!